our speaker to come to share about their journey. So now, and everyone please open up your microphone and camera and to say hello to the speakers.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can start. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nickson Emmanuel. I will be sharing our Antarctica journey with my fellow Barnaba, who is gonna start, and he's gonna take his part to introduce himself. Welcome, Barnaba.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Barnaba Buhombe. My Chinese name is Jie Cheng, so you can call me Jie Cheng. So, me and my friend Nickson will be sharing our journey towards South. So, from here, I'll proceed. Then in the few minutes, then Nickson will also go with me. Yes. As you can see here, this was some of our pictures, our last pictures heading to Argentina from Antarctica. So from here, I'll proceed with the next one. Yeah. So if you see this picture for us is not just a picture, because this is a beginning for us to even coming to Taiwan to study as students. We began volunteering at the Jane Goodall Institute in Tanzania, which is basically dealing with the environment, animals, and the community. So we are volunteers before being given the scholarship, awarded the scholarship for the Jane Goodall Institute. So that's why we came in Taiwan. So that was the first stage for us to be in Taiwan. Then we came here. While being in Taiwan, we were able to learn what the 2041 Foundation is doing, with the aim of taking different people from different source of academic institution, business, taking people to Antarctica to learn about the climate change, at the same time exploring the world. So that is where we got our chance and apply. So this, as you can see, Robert Swan is the first man of going to the South Pole and North Pole. So he's an explorer who is leading different groups every year, heading to South and North. So that's why we decided to join him. Then we can learn from other people around the world. And so this is their website where we found the information, the 2041 Foundation. So if you go to their website, then you'll find different information on different activities and what they are doing. And for us, we got the 2041, which was a climate change expedition of the Antarctic. So we decided to apply for it. We found ourselves in Antarctica from all the challenges which we faced. Then we'll be explaining a little bit of what we got and where we passed until today.
Yeah, I think as Barnaba say, I think this expedition is not like a normal expedition where everyone can attend it. It's a little bit about academic and environmentalists, like trying to test how people they believe on climate change and how to see how people they believe in environment. Like, is it really happening? Climate change, the global warming, is it happening? So we had to do like a process of questionnaire for application. Every participant in this expedition, they have to pass the 3 stages where they have to apply. Stage number 1 is just like a written question, like explain why do you want to attend, blah, blah, blah. And stage 2, they are trying to see if you are a leader or you have passionate about leadership. So they have like a question like 3 acts of leadership, statement of purpose, and your short-term and long-term goals for the environment and the planet. So it's not like any other expedition where everyone, if you have money, you can go to Antarctica. And the third stage was to have like oral interview. So we had an interview, like a visual interview. So we talked to them when they ask us some questions so that they can get satisfied on what we have been written to our papers to make sure these people are the real one who are applying it. So for us, because we are students and this expedition is super expensive, I can say it's almost 1 million NTD for 2 people. It's a lot of money. And if you check to our bank account, we have 0. So we had to try to look on different type of raising the money. So the first thing we tried to approach companies and try to do the corporate fundraising, but I don't know, maybe because of the language or because we are not familiar with the people here, it did not work very well. So we had a chance to present to the school, and the school was able to understanding us and try and supporting us in a big part. So as well as we try another online platform like Go Get Fund Me, also did not work well in Taiwan. So but we had an advice, maybe we can try the local Taiwan fundraising platform, which was Duduka. This one was showing a very great hope, but at least, and we didn't make it because we were late to start our journey and fundraising. So the news did not spread well because of the short time we had. But also there are some social clubs like Lions Club they were able to support us with certain amount of money to make our journey. So it was not only applying and going, but it also had some process until it's going. It's very long process. I think it's almost 6 months or more. We're trying to prepare ourselves for this journey and try to raise a lot of money. So after that, we managed to raise the money with a sweat and tears. But yeah, here we go. We try to start our journey. As you see on the picture, we super excited, like we are going to Antarctica. So we start our journey from Tainan, get to the high-speed trip to Taoyuan Airport. So to get to Antarctica, there's a 2-way. First way was South Africa, and another way in South America in Argentina. But our expedition will start from Argentina and South America. So we had to fly from Taipei to San Francisco, and then Houston, and then Buenos Aires, which is capital city of Argentina. And then we go down to Ushuaia, which is the end, like the most remote area in the world. They call it the land of fire, Tierra de Fuego. So our expedition will start from Ushuaia. Barnaba, you mute.
Yeah, it was the best experience from traveling from Taiwan to Ushuaia using flights, and during COVID, it was a bit stressing, but we are glad that we made it to Ushuaia, and it was a bit evening, so we had a team which was organizing this activity, very good team, which took us from the airport to the meeting hotel. So then next. So from Ushuaia there, we had to stay for, I think, 3 days, if not mistaken, 3 days. So we had some activities organized by the organizers, like beach cleanup, which I'll show you later. Then we are like getting ready, going to south, which was head through the Drake Passage, which was very stressing cross because the sea is very stressing, and I can say it's too, because it was the first, most of us, it was the first time to cross that place, which was seasickness was normal because it was really heavy wind and heavy current. Yeah. So as you can see here, we try to get used to the cold environment of the Ushuaia first before going to the Antarctic. So we had some activities of going like to this place called Glacial Marshall, which is mountains, the glaciers which is on the top of the Ushuaia city. And they depend, the water which they drink, they depend from this source. And we had some time of cleaning the beach and going to the national park, which is the Tierra del Fuego in the Ushuaia, which we are also learning about the environment there. As Nickson said, that this was most about the educational purpose. So that's why we had this kind of activities in Ushuaia. Yeah, before heading to the Antarctica, we had some workshops and talks from the expedition leaders. Some they were sharing about their journey from being engaged in environmental sector and the climate change issues. Also trying to get the belief about the Antarctic climate and the history of the climate change. It's also doing their activities like cleaning beach around the Ushuaia beach. Yep.
So yes, we start our journey down to the Antarctica Peninsula, where we had to explore Antarctica by Zodiac boat. The Zodiac boat are the small boats which they're being used. They're being carried on the big ship, and then they take out so that we can go out and try to explore Antarctica. So we saw some environment which mostly I never expected to see those big ices, icebergs, and everything. And it was really amazing to see, like on the picture, like this picture, you can see like this is a whale. It's a very big animal which is living underwater, and we had a chance to come really close to them and see how their life is and how like climate change is really affecting their life. Also, it was very impressive to see those big mountains of ice. It's amazing. And also we had a chance to take some pictures, and for me it was the first time to play with the snow. I can tell you, it's really amazing. So the expedition was having participants across the continent. I can say it almost 170 people from around 35 nations across the world. So it was a little bit of mixing and mingling, I can say, trying to learn new language, new pronunciation, but we are lucky we all speak English, so we all try to connect in one language and get to understand each other. So this is some of the company who sent some participant to the expedition. So this is the company NGOs and companies, and most of them, they are big companies in the world right now. They are the leading one, like Meta, which was Facebook, Rebuild the Future, and also some green energy company, most of them. Mute.
As you can see here, Nickson said that it was the first time to see these huge mountains of ice. Me too, yeah. Because I never went to any ice environment and I never saw ice, so it was the first time to see ice. And it was super surprising to see that sometimes you go on the deck of the ship, the outer deck, it was full of ice. Everywhere was ice, but the ship was moving. So we just found that the ship was also, the technology of the ship was using the icebreaker. So that's why we were able to use this ship in that environment. And something which was also surprising, the weather of the Antarctic and how it's changing every minute. Yeah, the next is okay. Yeah, so as you can see, sometimes the weather will be very beautiful and calm, but even in maybe after 5 minutes, you find that it started snowing very heavy and windy. something which was something's funny, but also scary, because if it gets really worse, it might be danger. But it was really fun to enjoy with people whom they are from different countries, different geographical positions, and with different knowledge, all in the professional background, who were able to share their knowledge and also able to learn from us and from everyone. Yeah. And yeah, it was amazing to understand the ecosystem of the Antarctic, on how they depend on each other, because we were able to witness and see most of the creatures in the Antarctica, like whales, seals, and the penguins and birds, and the krill, the small one at the middle, which is the very important creature in the Antarctica, because the whale depends on the krills and the penguins depends on the krill, something which is actually nowadays affected by the climate change because of the increase in the acidity of the ocean and the increase of temperature. So it was really good for us to get there and learn from the environment and learn from people. Yeah, this is the addition, some souvenirs for us to see in the Antarctica. We didn't take anything from the Antarctica. We just had to watch the creature there, like seals, how they interact, and also refresh our mind and try to learn by looking. Something which was super inspiring for us, and something which will always stay in our minds without even forgetting anything from what we got in the Antarctic. Yeah.
So I'd love to introduce a little bit about Deception Island, where it's an island which is most incredible island of the planet, I can say. It's an active volcano island in the southern Shetland Island in the Antarctica Peninsula. So the island, it's compromised with buried volcanic ashes, which it's covered also with some glacier. So we visited the island to see and learn about the human impact on Antarctica, where in 18th century, people and companies, they go to Antarctica and start some big industry, like a massive industry, and they start to slaughter whales so that they can get oil. So after we visit the place, it was so shocked, like in this remote area, how does the people can transfer this, as you see on the picture, these big iron balls. They're super big, they're huge. I don't know how they transfer to Antarctica, which is very remote and the weather is not stable, but it shows that at that age, there's like a business which was going on in Antarctica before the Antarctica Treaty, where they sign up to say we should stop Antarctica exploration. So this was a very shocked place when you visit. There's a massive, they call it rice cooker. So they used to bury, to cook the whales blubber and the whales bones, so that they can get oil, and the bones they used to make it fertilizer at that age. And to tell you a little bit, the name of 2041, 2041 is the year where, Barnaba, your mic. 2041 is the year where Antarctica Treaty is gonna come to an end, or they need to revise it. So that's why they call the name of the expedition 2041, so that we can raise awareness, like we need to vote and keep protecting Antarctica from exploitation and exploration. So these are the pictures we took with Robert Swan, the man in history, the first man to walk in the South Pole and the North Pole. It was quite interesting to hear the story from him. Like he has been bankrupted several times, but he never gave up. He had been walking. He had been, like, until that time we meet him, he has a iron on his leg. He was having some problem with his leg, but he was planning to go to walk again in the North Pole, like they call it I don't remember the name, but they're planning to go back and walk it again. So it was very scary of his history. He had been evacuated from North Pole several times where he got injured. So we had a very good time to chat with him and get his wisdom on what we can do as young generation. Yeah, also as well as because we get sponsored from Taiwan, most of our sponsors, like 99% of our sponsors, they're directly coming from Taiwan. We had to do maneuver so that we can have something which will be representing Taiwan. So we had to draw a flag. I don't know if any one of you suspect that is a handmade flag. So we had to ask for a paint, and then we start to paint the flag on the ship, because when we arrive in Ushuaia, after getting picked and go direct to our hotel, the organizer, they say you're not allowed to go to town because it was a very serious time in South America where the COVID cases, they're high and they're scared. They don't want to bring COVID to the team, because when you go to the ship, it means the staff, they need to work more than 2 seasons. So if any of the staff is getting COVID, it means the whole ship is going to stop from operation and they need to quarantine in their rooms, which is super, super hard, especially when you sit in the room, a small room where only you have like a small window. Yeah, for the entire trip on the ship, I can tell you the ship is very luxury. I will never imagine if I can have a lot of money to pay by myself to go to this kind of trip. The ship was very fantastic. It has big screen inside of it where we had to present, to listen, to do some funny games. As you see on the left-hand picture here, we had a Antarctica special edition where people, they show their talent, as you know, like 35 nations. So people, they're gonna have a different talents. And you see in the ship we have piano as well. So people, they play some music in the night and come together and try to exchange some good times, some memories, and to try to talk more about life and how stressed the other world is. And you see here, they call it a lounge, where people will usually sit and have some talk, some speech, and people, they share their stories as well.
Yeah, someone asked if we don't need to wear a mask. Just for a second. Yeah, sometimes we were just staying in the ship, not wearing mask, but we had to wear mask sometimes. But mask was strict. We were supposed to wear mask, but sometimes we forget that we have COVID inside because of having fun. Yeah. So as you can see, that some of the good facts of the Antarctica is very important for us and for the planet, because it holds the 7% of the fresh water, as you can see there. And most of this huge aspect, they are broken. There was something which was very scary, because we found that because we had researchers on the ship, they are saying that there's some of the ice which had been there. The ice was melting, which was there for over 10,000 years, but it's now melting. So, and there's some place where they say that years back it used to be an ice mountain, but currently there's no ice because of the ice melting, which is now a huge problem in the Antarctica. Yeah. Nickson?
Not much.
Yeah, so we because we are raining, so we had to understand like why Antarctica is very important for us, and not just for us who are in Antarctica, but also important to the planet and for everyone. Because nowadays Antarctica is not owned by anyone officially. So the building which you find in Antarctica is just for research centers and weather stations, which are owned by some countries. but it's not like Antarctica is owned by any countries officially at the moment. Some of the issues which we also face it was the cold, which and the dry. It's a desert area, and always windy all the time. And also Antarctica is more than Australia, almost double size. And some of the part which we are, I hear some noise over there. Sorry. Yep. So because we are learning, there are many things which we are learning toward the sustainable future, because we are learning something like the use of solar PV in our homes, learning for students, learning about wind farming, and for investors, because we had investors in the expedition, people were sharing on how they're investing in wind energy and some hydrogen energy, like shared. They have some projects of the hydrogen. So these were some projects we are learning, and there are some the carbon sequestration technology, like the use of tree planting, which can be done by anyone, which is not also like need high technology. The other thing was the carbon sequestration from the some of the part of the landfill, and also there are some of the methane collection on the cattle farm, because cattle is believed to be producing high methane. And also we are learning and try to emphasize each other to quit sometimes meat, which is sometimes some people, they are addicted to meat already, but that is the truth, that meat is also contributing to climate change. Yeah.
So to wind up, like things you can do, try to help this big mission and the big movement to try to save Antarctica and try to save everything in our planet, is try to recycle and reuse instead of throwing them into the garbage collection. Also, to turn off the light when you leave the room. I think most of us we're forgetting it. We just assume it varies minor things, but it's play a big impact. Like when we collect every small things, we can create a big giant thing. Also, don't leave the water running. So like we can reduce the time we are taking shower. Most of us we're taking the long shower. We can reduce the time. Also, you can share the knowledge with your friend and family on how they can do it. Also, we can keep learning about the environment, and maybe one day we can go together to Antarctica. How does that sound? Is it cool, right? So these are our sponsors that they make our time possible in Antarctica. And thank you very much. We welcome everyone for a question, anything you want to know. We'll be happy to share with you.
Yeah, most welcome, guys.
Anyone wants to ask questions? Or thanks so much for sharing. And maybe we can take the group photo now. Everyone can think about questions. And now, please, everyone, open out your camera and we will have a group photo. Did you see the polar bear?
There's no polar bear in the south.
Yeah, it's not in the south.
Yeah, polar bear then on the north, on the Arctic.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Turn on the camera, we can get to know each other.
Okay, so now I'll count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Yeah, okay. Okay. So anyone wants to ask them more questions? We have 30 minutes.
Hey, I just wondering, did you guys go there only for visiting, or did you do something there?
Barnaba.
Sorry.
Oh, is it me? Okay. I think because the mission of this expedition is to engage, whether it's education, people who are doing business, people who are doing green energy, or whatever possible solutions which are only basing on the climate change solution. So they invited whoever is capable of attending this expedition. So yes, we saw penguins. So they had some criteria of applying. We had to apply for the 3 stages, as we said. So the mission was more about going and learn from people who are doing different projects from around the world, from 35 countries. People were sharing what they are doing, and us as students, we also had to share what we are learning from our school, and also from our journey from Tanzania, our country, to Taiwan, what we have been doing on the environmental education, and for the sustainable development, because we are studying sustainable development, so we had a lot to share. So it was more about going to share and learn by example and observing what is really happening in the Antarctic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you see penguin? Yeah, we saw a lot of penguins, I think.
A lot.
And in Deception Island, it's one of the biggest place where the chinstrap penguin, they come and they do breeding. As we know, there's a different kind of penguins, like a type. There's a chinstrap, macaroni. There's too many.
Gentle. There are lots.
Gentle. Yeah, just remember a few. There are too many, and it's too scientific. Yeah, so there's a lot of them. So we'll be sharing maybe the picture, the photos where we took, and then you can post it on the group or somewhere, so people they can have a time to preview. We can introduce name as we ask. Bright?
No, I was just like recommending, like, if if we want to know each other better, we can just say what's your name, and then we can ask the question. How do you guys think? How? Okay, cool. It's not a must though, like you can just ignore.
Yeah, anyone else?
Hi, my name is Lydia. I would like to know, in such a harsh environment, the freezing weather, is it really uncomfortable to stay outdoor? Or with the warm clothes, jackets, it's okay? Thank you.
I think you saw us on the picture. That was not really us. We just getting some extra meat. I'm very skinny, but the jacket they add me some weight. It's very cold out there, so we don't spend like the whole day out there. So sometimes we can go out for 2 hours or 3 hours maximum on the Zodiac cruising, and also we can land on some small islands according to the weather, because the expedition team, they're making sure everyone who is traveling with them, they're going back home safely. So it's very harsh weather, so the jacket was the one who's keeping us warm, but also in the ship it's very warm. The ship is 24 hours heated, so inside the ship is like you are in a normal environment. They have like a standard stable temperature where you can relax, you can wear your jacket. Otherwise you go outside the ship, like on the deck, to have a fresh air. I see on the chat box, sorry I cannot read Chinese, but there's a question. You guys live on luxury ship but talk about environmental issue. Is not it ironic? Maybe Barnaba can go with that. Okay, to help to answer you that, the ship which we're taking to Antarctica, it's one of its kind unique ship, where it's using 60% of it. It's different from normal ship, where it's an energy saving ship, and it's using the less fuel. And according to that, we had some project which the organizers, they're running to capture all the carbon footprint that we have been producing on our entire expedition. Like, we cannot cut the traveling, but we need to see how we can try to absorb our carbon footprint as we travel. I believe I answer you. Barnaba, you have something else to add?
Yeah, there's one question here, which is, what is your most impressive experience and insights? The earth or the environment people live as home? What do you think about it? Have your thought have been changed after the trip? Yeah, it was actually because you know, there are some things which were, especially personally, I can say it was really new to see. There are people who are, because before I also thought like people are just talking, but about the environmental issues. But there are people who are really doing projects, very serious projects. I remember there's this lady who is from Brazil. Brazil is facing climate crisis, real crisis, because there are some places which they used to have mangroves, but now no mangroves. So that lady is doing the projects of replanting mangroves by using the community members who are living in that community. And we also we had been doing this kind of projects in our country of planting mangroves, but being in Taiwan is been, this is personal to me. It's really, I just have to learn, but not act. Acting is just doing the simple actions which we can do, like just not trying to avoid the use of plastic as much as we can. Also trying to share our knowledge on what we are learning in our class, and changing our thoughts. We found people who are deeply dedicated on their projects, on what they are doing. People, they are not just talking, they are doing. So from that, for me personally, I was not sure if I can do something which can make changes. But first, by sharing our knowledge which we are learning in our class, it really helps young people. Like, we share our knowledge in school and also in kindergarten schools. Also, there are some projects of them, like because saving the environment, even if you are doing the wastewater treatment, that is also help. And that is what I'm also working on. So it has been changed, because before I was just thinking like, this is maybe people are just talking, but going there, it was really easy to see like people are really serious, and people just didn't just come here to enjoy life on the luxury ship. It was really luxury, but the way on how they build ship, I think, I'm sure they didn't lie the information about the ship. So that is what they ended there. About the waste which is being used on the ship, they also taught on how they recycle and manage their waste. Like, they don't use any plastic material on the ship. Something which we were discussing, like, we can also introduce this kind of knowledge to hotels of not using any kind of plastic materials, which is possible. And there are some hotels even in Taiwan, they are not using the single-use plastic. So this knowledge is really help, even if we didn't get like a lot of funds of going to invest in the renewable energy, but the knowledge which we have right now, it really helps, and it's really changed our mind when we went there. I hope I tried to answer the question, and if I have maybe explained too much on the different things, maybe you can also try to come back again. Yeah. Did your rubber boat stuck in the ice? This question, it was the boat was, because we had a tour guide team on the ship, so we were not allowed to go outside if they didn't go to check before us. So we used to go at the place where they already check, which it was it was not possible for us to get stuck on the ice. So it was really safe, and safety was the most important thing, which was in front. Yep.
Yeah, we welcome some more question. I think someone she just sent me a message direct. How was a typical day on the ship? Very funny question. So our typical day on the ship, we have a morning call. Or in the ship, the captain is always giving us the morning call, like team inspire, wakey. It was a very, very wonderful, fantastic morning call. So everyone in the ship, they woke up, and we just go there in a bad time. We had to do a COVID test in every morning. So we woke up and we did our morning COVID test. We had a doctor in the ship. So after the COVID test, we go direct to the breakfast. We had our breakfast. It was like a buffet breakfast. So everyone, we come to the lounge and have breakfast while trying to keep talking and keep discussing. And then after that, we're gonna hear the announcement. So they divide us in 2 groups because it's too many people. They cannot handle us in one time. So we had to divide ourselves in 2 groups. So group number 1 and in group number 2. So the expedition team, they go out to check in the morning where we're gonna land at that day. So if they go out, it means group number 1, they will go out after the breakfast, and then group number 2 will be remaining on the ship while we're gonna have some lectures, maybe about Antarctica ecosystem or Antarctica environment, or about climate change, or about green energy, or anything related to the environment. And then when group 1 is back to the ship, it means group 2, they're getting ready to go out. So we always hear the call from the captain, hey, group 2, get ready and go to the mudroom. So the mudroom is a room where we put our boots. As to go in Antarctica, we had to sign some papers and to say I'm not bringing any kind of species or seed or anything. So we had to clean and vacuum all of our clothes and bags and everything to go to Antarctica. So we are not using the normal shoes to go out of the ship. They have the boots, the mud boot, which we will be cleaning. When you go, after you coming back from the ship, you put in a special, I think, medical or chemical to clean it, to try to remove any bacteria or anything which is coming from other continent to Antarctica. So they're trying to keep Antarctica clean. And after that, we had lunch, and then after lunch, we had some show-off again, like you go outside, explore Antarctica, and then coming back and switch groups. And then we had dinner. We have a special edition, Antarctica special edition most of the time. And it was really, really amazing to hear people from different background. Any other question? I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, that was my question. Thank you for answering. And I have another question. Have you ever encountered a dangerous situation?
About the dangerous situation, it wasn't really very serious because we are not supposed to go very far away from the ship. I remember it was, I think, the 3rd day in the Antarctic. We went outside. So we are like, oh, let's go. We just go in front. Then in 1 minute, the weather changed. So we didn't see the ship. But because they are using the radio calls, they need to know where the direction of the ship is. So we had to go slow to the ship. They said for them, their experience, it was not really serious, but for me personally, it was scary. And there are some people whom their life vest, because their life vest is more active to the environment. If the weather changes, it will burst by itself. So it will just open. There are 2 people. There are 2 people whom their life vest inflate. So that was the honor series. And the other thing was maybe the seasick, which was very stressing because some people didn't eat for, I think, the first day and the second day, some people didn't eat because of the seasick. Because we are like, the entire ship was like, everyone was drunk, except the crew member who are used to eat. So I think that was it.
And I remember there's a day we go out for Zodiac cruising, but at the end of the day, also the weather was changing. So we are like, I think like 2 kilometers away from the ship. And then the captain was giving a radio call, like all the Zodiac should return to the boat right now. So our Zodiac driver was telling us, okay, it's time to go back. We're going to go very quickly. And the wavings are so big. They were bigger waves. So I remember there's one guy who did not put his camera on his bag, and his camera get wiped with the salt water, and his camera was getting damaged. But we are like very rushing and bumping and everyone get wet. Like no one left behind. Everyone, we came and shivering. It's very cold.
Yep.
Any other question? I'm waiting to hear the question. It was cold. No one asked me that question.
Hi, this is Sabrina from Taiwan. And will you keep adventuring journey?
Actually, I think, do you mean like keep the adventure?
Yes, will you keep the journey?
I think that was just like breakfast. So yeah, we still have lunch, dinner, afternoon tea. So I think traveling will be always there. Yeah, I think traveling is a part of actually my life. So I like traveling. I think Nickson too.
Yep.
Yeah. Will you guys?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Why
even
not?
tomorrow. Even tomorrow, if you have the money, just give me a call. I'd love to join you.
Yeah.
Guys, I can tell you that place is very unique. If you visit one time, you feel so small, and just even a small part we just go. So it's still a big part to explore it. You have something to say?
Because in the Antarctic, not just feeling like staying on the ship, which was luxury. There was a time when you stay on the outside of the ship, just trying to see the environment and think about yourself and what you have been maybe through. So it was something which the place where you can feel everything about yourself. And if you want to meditate, it was really a nice place to have meditation over there. When there was no activity, maybe during the late night, if you go outside, it was something which was, apart from the airplane, the other things, for me, that was a very huge part of my life in Antarctica, staying alone on the ship and trying to meditate a little bit and think about how life is going on. Yeah, so I definitely want to go back even today. Do we have another question?
Me here. Okay, I have a question about the energy, because you talk about the green energy, like the wind farming and the solar panel. And I would like to know, do you do any research about that? Because for me, the green energy it's just not quite green. So people say that it's great, but what do you think about that?
Nickson, come. Because he's doing green energy. Okay, come.
Actually, it's depend on how. There's there's a lot of challenges on energy, and everyone try to define it in its own perspective. But what we're trying to solve here is trying to reduce the amount of using fossil fuel to generate energy. As yes, we know, like example, solar panels, it produce more waste sometimes more than the maybe fossil fuel, or sometimes less than fossil fuel. But I was hoping, like in this expedition, I meet one of the company which is they're recycling solar panels. They're making car glass by using solar panels. So it was really like trying to give hope, like after gray energy instead of green energy. Gray energy it's trying to shape its own way to the green energy, even though we need some a little bit of time on developing, especially in technology, especially on the battery technology, where we can try to install the energy. But I think we are paving the way to the green energy, and we are hoping after some time we can have the clean and green energy.
Yes, so I have a further question about that is, so as I know the Taiwan policy, that they want to build lots of like a wind farming offshore, so
Yes.
near the coast, and the number is like extremely crazy. So I don't know what are they thinking about that. So I would like to know your opinion.
For my opinion, I think if they can run the environmental impact analysis very well and see what are the environmental impact is, I think the offshore it's gonna be a very good one. But I hear sometimes some people they're complaining about the noise which they're producing in the wind farm. As I did not come from from the country where we are producing we have like a big farms of renewable energy. Maybe Franzi, can you help me if you have any comment, if you're coming from a country where you're having a big wind energy?
Yes, I wanted to add a little bit, because we had some people who were doing the wind energy project, like they own their own company. There was an example which was being used, like during the 1950s, people were killing whales to make oil, but then they came to fossil fuel, something which was killing a lot of animals, and then it came to fossil fuels. But now fossil fuel is making a lot of problems. So from the people who are doing the wind energy, because I haven't done any good research about the wind energy, they were trying to present on how the technology of wind energy is trying to develop itself by introducing because there are some problems of bird killing. So they are trying to develop the sensors which will at least help to do the bird killing because of the wind turbines. These are some of the technology which seems to be promising, which might be helpful. And for the case of Taiwan, this topic is kind of controversial, because it's true that there's some kind of projects in Taiwan which have been there in Changhua, and which they have been there for a long time, but they're not running. They're not producing energy. It's not really proved. I don't have like a really like 100% source which is having this information, but these are some of the information which have been discussed on the internet on because I tried to check, but seems like it's still really controversial. But if we believe in innovation and development, I personally believe that the technology is going to grow and it might be giving us a good impact. Because if we moved from the 1950s of killing whales for oil and going to fossil fuels, so I think it's really possible also to change from fossil fuels to green energy if the technology innovation is really well developed.
Yeah, I was inviting also Franz, if you can share knowledge from what you do in Europe about renewable wind energy.
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the most important things to keep in mind is that at the end of the day, we depend on a mix of renewable energies, because no single source of renewable energies will be sufficient to provide the energy demand. So, for example, here, or like everywhere in the world, there's a big boom or like very high rise on solar energy. And what they do here in Germany, where I'm from, is that wind energy is primarily used as a supplement. So when there's no energy generated in the night, like solar energy is producing energy during the day, and then you have the nights where there's obviously no solar energy produced, you can make use of the wind energy. So wind and solar, they're actually working very great to supplement each other. So yeah, I think it's very important to explore different sources and increase.
Oh yeah, we are not on the ship. Sorry, I wanted to answer. We are not on the ship. We are already in Taiwan. So we're in Taiwan since April 1st, if not mistaken. Yeah, April 1st. Someone was talking something.
No, she finished already.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So any other question, suggestion, anything we would love to know? And quarantine 3 weeks. Oh yeah, was sick. Yeah, I think we spent 7 days in quarantine. It was 10 days, and then because of the Ministry of Education, we were not allowed to come to the school, so we had to do a self-isolation far away. So it was like another quarantine. Also, it was a very bad thing. It was its value for what we get from Antarctica. So we are like using the time to try to think and to digest what we get from Antarctica. I think we should stop pursuing GDP, otherwise we will never have enough energy. Unfortunately, that is not my field, and I don't know what to answer on that. I don't have comment.
Maybe if someone can help us to share about this, it might really help also us, because we are learning.
If there are no more questions, can you guys answer the long story about the how you meet each other? I mean, it's not about the presentation, but I would like to know.
I think that's
Okay.
bright. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you. Well, I happen. Okay, I turned on my video. I happen to know Sunny like I would say 2 months ago, maybe even more. I was introduced by someone else, and like I had this sort of cultural sharing in her place in Pingtong. And then afterwards, we became good friends, actually. I invited her a couple of times at school, and she also invited me some places. And yeah, she also connected me to some issues. And like, I even shared her that, oh, we have these people who went to Antarctica. And she became very much moved, very much interested. And she said, oh, please bring them in. I think many people in cultural diving will be interested to learn about their trip. So I gladly invited them, and I'm really grateful that Nickson and Barnaba responded positively, and they came, and this was a nice sharing. Yeah, I've heard the stories so many times, but today it was special. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And thank you, Sunny.
Thanks very much to Bright to help us to invite Nickson and Barnaba, because when he told me about the project, I think it's so interesting. And I just come up with the idea that maybe it would be really good to talk if they can share in cultural diving.
Yeah.
Maybe will be some teachers interested in inviting them to school or something. I don't know, but thanks so much, because it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 9:30 now, and also thanks for everyone, and also thanks again for Barnaba and Nickson and Bright. And yeah, thanks. So before everyone's going to leave, please open up your microphone and camera to say goodbye and thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Ciao.
bye.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Jen, Chitata.
Thank you.
Jen.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Someone is raising.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
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 Okay, I think we are. Yep.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay.
Yeah, bye bye. Thank you
Good
very much.
night.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
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 Bye-bye and good night.
I
Good
won't be
night.
the last.
I was curious, this Caleb was actually a kid. I
Probably.
didn't
Okay,
know.
bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay, bye-bye.